So, my dear Tulu, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Thank you for having for me. And I'm really great. I just got out of a very busy working day.
Yeah, me too.
I did my magic and sarcasm and joy, spread it all around, and I hope I will bring joy also here.
Oh, of course, man. Of course, you're gonna bring joy.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
Oh, of course, of course. So this channel is about the people of Amsterdam. So we live in the city for a while. Like, we love this city. We enjoy the city. So you're one of the best friends that I have in this city.
Thank
so
you.
I really wanted to have you here today.
Yep.
And let's start with you. Who are you? When did you come to this city? What do you do?
Thank you again. I hope the audience will also find this conversation interesting as I do. Because I find myself very boring person, but my, let's say, friends are telling me like, Tulu, you're disruptive enough. You should just shut up and listen. But this is who I am and what I do. So my name is Tulu, born and raised in Istanbul, been to many continents and worked in many global environments. I was working in a consultancy company before joining my current brand that I'm working for the last 10 years. So today is actually my 10th year, a decade spent in the same brand that I'm currently working. It's a Dutch company, actually Dutch brand, but a global company. So I'm in banking sector, and I'm an engineer. Born and raised as an engineer, and I need to solve a problem, and that's my disruption. So, I mean, what specifically you want to learn about, because this is not a dating app, right? So I just do speed dating in Amsterdam as the culture, but just joking aside. And just to be frank, we are in Haarlem right now.
Yeah, we are.
We're just 12 minutes distant from Amsterdam, and Haarlem is the coolest city ever after or before Amsterdam. It's because I spend a lot of time here as well. So, as I said, like, I'm into sports, I'm into motorsports, I'm into mathematics, I'm into classical music, but also electronic music. And I started doing sports as a hobby, but now it's actually center of my life. And
That's how we met, actually,
that's
right?
how we met, indeed, in the running club that we established with my dear friend.
Yeah,
And best regards to him as well from here, Selçuk.
exactly.
Selçuk, we call him. Anyway, I hope the Turkish friends will never discriminate him. But I'm also here not to incriminate myself. So with that regards, I was always feeling not, let's say, part of the society in Turkey. It was kind of my way of being educated in the American mindset in a Turkish college. I graduated from a very decent and classical Turkish college that standard level B-class families would send their children to. And I always, from actually primary school, I started going there and graduated from the same, let's say, school for 12 years. Went there for 12 years. And then I become a mathematical engineering student. The reason why I choose that, it was the year 2000, and 2YK was a crisis. And I totally discovered that this is the new way of living. We will be putting numbers in a silicon, and we just give electricity to it, and then it will ruin our life in the future. And then, of course, it was the under influence of the Terminator series. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back, was one of our, let's say, thing that we were always constantly telling to each other. But when I was in the university, it was also not enough for me. So I need to expect more in life. That's why maybe I got divorced and didn't have enough let's say, time to recover from that. But long story short, while I was going to university as a freshman, I started my own company. And I did, let's say, tuning and modification to the cars because it was the Fast and Furious year.
Yeah.
So all those,
Absolutely.
let's say, people who wants to take attention of girls, but actually ended up with guys, were just paying me to modify their cars, and I did a good lump sum amount of money, which then, of course, had another job. But I'm not obliged to talk about it here because some people will think that I'm doing white woman transportation from all those East European companies or as a pimp, but it was just an agency. helping the Turkish Turkish television companies to have hosts and hostesses for their competition shows as a part of it. Anyway,
Okay.
so I was partnering with three people, but I always got the blame because I was the logistics and system guy putting the structure. But then, of course, I offended my father long enough. So then I said, like, okay, I had enough money. Now my father can tell me what I could do. And then he told me, like, go and work for this bank. I'm going to arrange it. So when I was going to the university, I started working for a bank. And then I realized that life is not about go to school, go to university, find a job, get married, and have a child. In between, do your military service as a Turkish citizen, and then start owning a house instead of renting. So it's kind of, I saw the pattern.
Yeah.
So it was kind of the handcuff of the new individualistic capitalist world. And I said, like, fuck that, I'm not going to do it. But at the end, I got also married. But I really loved my ex-wife. I mean, she's a brilliant lady. I'm still in touch with her. She is still my best friend and person to call
Oh,
immediately.
really nice.
Yeah, I mean, we grow up together. But the way that I see things now, it's like it's not anymore happening. So people don't need each other to bond. People need each other for certain needs. And it's totally, that's what I also started discovering while started working for the bank. And of course, you can see that I can't even look one place. I'm looking everywhere. Like I look at my thinking boxes. The things that I learned throughout life, including job changes, including the way that I push myself to get better. It's all about learning new things. If you don't fuck around, you never find around. It was my motto. And of course, I then, after becoming a mathematical engineer, in parallel to work, I also went to do master's degree in the Harvard of Turkey under industrial engineering. And that's how I met with my wife to be, and then the mother of my child as well. So, and while doing my master's degree, I also started working for this consultancy company after working 8 years in 3 different banks, 3 different types of banks, 3 different owner and culture banks. And when I was doing the consultancy, I was asked myself, like, what have I done for the company today? No, it was just being pushed to us. I wasn't thinking like that, but I'm a lazy guy with a very, let's say, high intelligent mindset. I always try to avoid things and make people work for me, which is the actually true leadership nowadays. It's been imposed as such. But we are a big family. Let's stay as a family is the biggest bullshit I've ever heard. If they are telling that, run away. They're toxic motherfuckers. They're going to ruin your life until you just find out and wake up from the matrix. Anyway, I served that company nearly 5 years before joining the latest company I'm working for. And things I've learned, oh my God, Efe, you should see me in action, man. I mean, I wasn't even staying in one place more than 1 hour. Like 45 minutes, I did my job, I do my magic, move to the next client. So a vast amount of people were reporting to me, but that was not my power, not the hierarchy, the things that I deliver, and also engagements I'm making with my clients. And I mean, my clients, my accounts, is not actually my accounts, my clients, but really it become a connection to me. Like I'm still in touch with them. My LinkedIn profile is booming, and every link that lead that I have is organic. You know, these are the things that social media influencers say. Like I have organic followers. I mean, we grow so well, and I'm happy with the network I have. But also, it gave me the power to ask and push myself to the next level. I'm not satisfied with results. Of course, nowadays I'm 43. They tell me like, Tulu, you need to calm down and look slow, take your time, do slow things and big impacts and choose your battles. Yeah, totally agree with that. That's why I had the tattoo. So my battle is with me. I don't care the rest. And I was also... let's say, luxurious enough to pick my own managers. So there was this American guy who hired me for Netherlands. So the first day I appeared in Amsterdam, Zadost, and in the office, no one actually took me from downstairs because that's how culturally I'm used to. So someone salutes you and picks you up at the reception and guides you to the office, and
Yeah.
hey, this is where you're gonna sit. Like nobody's nobody's system. So I just called the secretary and told her like, hey, I'm the new guy on the block, but no one is waiting me downstairs. And she said, oh, this is Netherlands. You have to do it yourself. So
Yeah.
like, okay, but how? You need to ask questions. Okay, to whom? Find anyone downstairs. And she hung up on me. I said, like, okay, so this is how we survive. I'm the Mexican of Europe. I'm Turkish.
Yeah.
So of course I survived, and I made myself available and reporting for duty in 12 minutes from downstairs to the second floor. I even find that motherfucker's office by myself. So he's an American guy. He's a redneck. But anyway, I love him. I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity he provided to me. I mean, joking aside, not to offend anyone, he was one of the, let's say, brilliant leaders I've ever worked because he taught me not to, in a way, not to do things. I mean, his management style was based on not managing things. So then you have to step in and then you have to manage it and then you have to push your manager so that you create a management regime. So those were the things I've just learned from him. And it was a vast amount of countries that we were mingling with, managing the technology together. It was a huge experience, man. I mean, I cannot find enough words to tell how amazing experience it was. Like I circled the globe twice. And not that because of him, because of the belief he actually had in me. And I actually have that habit right now. If I believe in something, he enabled me in me. If I believe in something, regardless of the bureaucracy and how many people are telling you that you cannot do this is not the way we do, I always talk to the shop floor, man. I always talk to the labor. I always talk to who does the job. So like, do you think doing this would be beneficial for you? Yeah. So how do you think I can influence your manager this way? Okay, who actually hates your manager? That person. Okay, I'm going to have a meeting with that person.
Okay.
And the moment you start stirring the perception, you start actually leading the perception because you own them. If you distract them, you own them because then you're in control. So my life motto is the following, which still gives me the gas lights open. Life is too ridiculous to take it serious, but also too brutal not to. So I believe in consequence management, and every nice smile has a dark side, meaning every person sitting here smiling and making jokes wants a serial killer. They are now smiling because they had that power before and they are not using it. And avoiding that high power is the joy of life. So, but in daily life, I'm following my own journey, my own life.
Yeah.
So I believe in 3 principles, which are strength, wisdom, and beauty. So if I were the ambitious guy, age of 27, talking like this, I would be very dangerous. But now I'm talking like this just to burst some sarcasm in the game and put some smiles on the faces and make the audience saying like, who the fuck who thinks he is?
No, no. I mean, it's really important that you're telling your story because so you're headhunted in Turkey, right?
I am headhunted many times.
Yeah, so that's one of the important topics that I want to highlight.
I never
in here.
applied to my job. Like,
Yeah, so like okay, so how did you manage that process? Because that's one of the key elements in my opinion.
It's not a process. You create your own opportunity.
Okay, so like, can you give us some examples?
Of course,
Like how did
the
you?
way that I've been hired to the consultancy company, I was attending a certificate exam, and half of that consultancy company were there also attending the exam, even the partner in charge. I approached him and said, like, I know you from somewhere. I said, like, I'm this guy, and I visited your company, and we provided service to you. And now you're applying for this certificate? He said, yeah. So the job you delivered is not qualified enough because you didn't have that certificate. Is that so? He said, like, where did you get that? I mean, if I just pull out the offer you provided, and check if how many people have the certificate. I believe none of you had that because I see 8 people attending from the same company, same department, reporting to you. So, like, I'm thrilled with your observation skills, and I'm also gutted with your threatening skills. Oh, how would you do that? I would ask additional engagement with a discount. Oh, that's how you guys work then. And he said, like, you look like a smart kid. And of course, I was just 28,
Yeah.
having 8 years of experience.
So you use a lot of networking skills in
Of
that
course,
case.
in a
Yeah.
nutshell, it is. But also, I never bow my head down. I bow my head to a purpose, but not a person.
Okay.
You can call it rebellion. You can call authority problem. No, because if your mother and father didn't treat you like that, no one can. So you can actually take over the world with who you are. It totally depends what is the situation, what is the narrative, and what value you add.
Yeah.
Of course, I've been hired by the value that I deliver. It's not about only networking. It's not about who you know.
Yeah.
It's about how you deliver the value.
Yeah.
I don't accept no as a response. No is a maybe to me.
Okay.
So what are the right conditions? What do you want to have this happen?
Okay, but like eventually you use your skills of networking to be recognized by, let's say higher.
Paying attention to details, let's
Yeah,
say.
paying attention to details, and then networking with people, also delivering your job, but in the same time, just
Yeah.
mingling with the right people. Let's say, right? It's
Yeah,
very
indeed.
important.
But that also gave me a lot of, let's say, other skill sets because I
Okay.
just don't focus on my job responsibilities or the obligations that I have. Those are the things that I have to deliver based on a time contract that I agreed and signed and put myself available in return of a lump sum money that I believe it is enough.
Sure.
I also have personal needs. I love interacting with people. And right now, I'm working in the enterprise risk management function of a global bank, and we are setting the let's say, risk governance and framework methodologies to operate for those risk functions to operate. It's a very high level, conceptual, but also very operational job. So you need to influence people. You need to show where we are actually need to improve our quality of control and where we can actually make the extra mile ahead.
Of course.
As to increase our resilience and also improve our, let's say, strength in our control environment. But these are not my personalities. Let's say those traits fit my professional capabilities and necessities. I'm also a human. So my personal ambition fits with finding the strength of people.
So, can you tell me a little bit about like the main differences between that you were working back in Turkey, in Istanbul, and then you moved to the Netherlands in Amsterdam, and there could be some sort of like a cultural shift you experience, in my
You
opinion.
want to talk about the pros or the cons?
Both of them, please.
Okay.
Because like what would I expect if I want to follow your way? Let's say if I be coming from a different country to Amsterdam, like what kind of things should I be expecting? The pros and cons. Pros
If
and
you
cons.
are if your driver is individual success, then you should lower your expectations here.
What do you mean by that?
Because Dutch culture is a consensus culture. So as you are an individual, it means just one opinion. So to have an impact, you need to have a consensus even before proposing a change. And then to apply that change, you also need a second consensus. And then for the rollout, you also need a consensus. So you need to know how to communicate and
Yeah.
you need to know how to sit in a circle.
Yeah.
So in Turkey, we are always assessed with our individual successes.
Yeah. True.
So-
It's kind of it is. Yeah.
We never been treated as we need to act as a community. We always been told as we need to act as a company. We need to act as a family. But
Yeah, I heard that a lot too. Yeah.
yeah, so in Netherlands, in every company, it's not only in banking, you need to have a consensus. So you
So
need to
can you
prepare
elaborate on that a
yourself.
little bit? Like, what do you mean by
Of
consensus?
course, like first you need to have a consensus about what language you're talking. So if a person in the room is not eligible to talk English or not willing to talk English,
Okay.
and your company language is not defined by a higher authority, then to express yourself, you also need to learn Dutch
Yeah.
to include that person.
Yeah.
And if you assess or stress, do we really need that person for this any decision? Then you lose another person who speaks English, because then he or she might think that, oh, why are we leaving a person behind? We need to be acting together in this. So just for the concept and principle perspective, you can see people are changing their opinions. So it's all about having a consensus with respect,
Yeah.
with collaboration,
Yeah.
and with everyone's what's good in it for me mindset. So if you create that value delivery, then everyone will have their skin in the game.
Yeah.
But the delivery of the value also needs to be beautiful. If if it doesn't fit with the standards or the qualities of Dutch design, Dutch way of living, Dutch beauty we call it, it will also backfire on the next stage.
Yeah.
So you need to keep your audience always aligned. You need to discuss. You need to respect opinions.
Of course.
You need to be direct.
Yeah.
And direct in terms of not being rude. Direct in terms of, I believe this will not be the way of doing business because.
Yeah.
And if this is gonna happen like this, I'm not gonna vote yes. Like you tell your agenda up front. That's a very different way of working than compared to Turkey.
Yeah, absolutely. I also experienced that a lot. Yeah. If I compare my career back in Turkey, like, yeah, exactly what you said. Being direct is just really short and, clean, and you say what do you want to say. So,
if you're an adrenaline junkie, if you're a dopamine junkie, if you want to see your impact so fast, go for United States.
yeah,
Netherlands is not your cup of tea.
exactly.
Here is a happy country.
Yeah,
And
it really is. Yeah.
It is a happy country.
Yeah.
So the moment that I felt more integrated, it was me not feeling any stress anymore.
Okay.
It's like not the work that I'm doing is easy. It's also has its own stress. But if you just focus on the content and not focus on personal topics,
Yeah.
like if you stop taking things personal,
Yeah.
then you feel like, oh my God, this is the best brand ever to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
In Turkey, we are kind of see our managers as our rulers as well.
Yeah.
Like you cannot avoid.
No, I had the
them.
same experience. Yeah, I had the same experience.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as I started working with Dutch, folks, and I was like, okay, I'm really feeling super, super happy, super free. I can say whatever I have in my mind, like, just openly and honestly, and it worked a lot for me. So that's why I ended up in here.
I felt human for the first time in my work environment when I step in a Dutch brand in Istanbul.
Yeah.
And then when I come here, I started saying like, oh my God, like moving to Netherlands is also a different level, because then the stress of the society, traffic, like living,
Yeah.
also diminishes. It
Yeah,
just
of
goes
course.
away. So then
Yeah.
you know when the plane lands, you know when you're gonna get out of the airport, you know when the Uber comes, you know
Yeah.
when the bus comes. It's not like Germany. We're better than Germany. I mean, I hope Germans will never regret that.
100%, I guess.
Yeah, like Deutsche Bahn is not coming on the time, or even doesn't even appear on the station. But our NS Spoorwagen, it always there.
And your stress levels are naturally dropping in the Netherlands.
it
Like,
is.
that's just, it's you're not forcing it. It's naturally going down. I felt the same thing.
Yeah, now I need to talk about the opposite things, so that I mean,
Yeah, please do.
we need Turkish people also staying in Turkey, right?
Yeah.
Turkey. So living here is so expensive. The rents, oh my God, like they're so expensive that system pushes you to buy a house.
Yeah.
That expensive. I mean, I really hate plastic cars. I call them plastic cars because when I was a child, I had let's say, battery car trauma because we were so rich that I was driving battery cars at those days during the 1980s. So that's why I
Okay.
cannot drive a Tesla because it's also so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Just to stay in the Tesla course, I had to buy Porsche. So yeah, I mean those were my struggles,
That's
literally.
really super hard struggles.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
sorry.
exactly. And I mean, I have a daughter. I love her. I frequently visit Istanbul
Yeah,
because of
she's
that.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I mean, she was around and you saw her.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that she tells me, "Hey, Dad, there are no police cars all around, and there are no cars honking.
Uh,
People are not cursing each other. Am I don't understand because I don't speak Dutch, or is it just people?" Yeah, honey, it's just if
yeah.
you go to the center of Amsterdam because of the tourists, most of the Dutchies get out of the, let's say, normal rails, but mostly they are fine.
Yeah.
And
She was in shock, I
she is
guess.
in shock. And even she's kind of a little bit introvert
Mm-hmm.
while doing the first social activity.
Mm-hmm.
In here, she just goes and asks and she just be herself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even a child, age of 9, 10, range, a daughter, a girl,
Mm-hmm.
feels like feeding the birds in Dumb Square so easily without any interruption.
Yeah.
That's something that Netherlands provides you, but not in Amsterdam. Amsterdam is the most, let's say,
Or ducks. I like ducks.
oh yeah,
Ducks are
ducks,
everywhere. Yeah.
ducks or swans.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
They're so
crazy
beautiful.
swans. Like
Yeah.
they are the terrorists. Like in Turkey, we have the cats. In here, we have the ducks and
Yeah.
also the swans and
They're
stuff.
just looking at you like, hey.
Yeah, I mean, my daughter hates mouse or rats as well.
Yeah.
But in Amstelveen, there is a place called an ice cream place called Da Vinci,
Mm-hmm.
and since when the weather is so humid,
Mm-hmm.
the rats are out hunting, and we saw some rats, and even she said like, "Oh, they look like they literally look like squirrels,"
Yeah.
and I told her like they are relatives,
Yeah.
they're related, and she said like, "Really?
But
They're
they're a little bit
cute."
huge. I mean,
Yeah, in
they're
here
scary.
the food is really nutritious, so even the rats are mouses are really good fed. But this is what she told me, and that's how I feel as well. Like when I land, the air quality increases
Yeah.
and everything. I mean, I also started doing the homeless things, homeless people, the things that homeless people will do, like picking up bottles from the
Yeah.
ground, because
Of
it's
course.
recycle. It's 10 cents. Like, why should I leave money there? I mean, it's like, oh my God, it's a free day, but you pick a bottle and you say, oh, I already started working.
And I just you can also clean up a little bit. Don't you? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, a friend of mine, she was visiting Amsterdam, and we saw a Dutch lady with a Rolex Daytona in her wrist, and she was also having a Hermes bag.
yeah.
But she literally picked up the branch on the pavement. She broke into pieces and threw it in the garbage can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she said, why did she did that? She has a Birkin. You know what? How much money that is? I mean, the watch is $35,000. The Birkin itself, 50,000. So just two accessories, nearly 100K. And you saw what she did.
Yeah.
So that's the culture. The culture also doesn't allow you to
No,
do
I
any
really love the
misdemeanor.
culture. No. The last week, I guess three weeks ago, I was on the run in the running club, and I just realized that I forgot my phone. Right?
Okay.
And this guy approached me and said, like, to us actually, I found a phone on the table. I'm like, oh, that could be really mine, you know? So like, he just said it and left, and I'm like, that's really nice thing to do, right? Like,
Yeah,
he just delivered to the bartender and just picked up from there.
yeah.
And then in the same day, someone just fell off in front of me from his bike, and I just helped him. So I just kind of like exchanged our good energy with people
Yeah,
we don't know. That's really nice thing to
that's so nice of you.
experience to in Amsterdam. That's why I love it. Like you're just exchanging your good energy, and that's
And
it.
that's how we live here.
Yeah,
So that's why I'm also kind of, as a personal need that I have to give back to the society.
yeah,
I am, sometimes I'm doing friendly touches to people as coaching their CVs
yeah.
or finding them a job or guiding them through what kind of, let's say, emotional stress that they might be having, because coming here is not easy. Like
No, it's not. You know, you're
the
immigrant here, definitely.
yeah,
I
like
mean, us, we are
it's not
different.
about discrimination. Of course, there's certain level of, let's say, integration layers you need
Yeah,
to peel off as an onion,
yeah,
and onion is a joke that Joost Klein also used. Like, I'm like an onion, you need to peel me off, and like you never know what's gonna come out. And his song in Eurovision was so
Oh,
good.
that guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course,
Yeah.
Euro Papa.
Europa. Pa.
But the moment that you get over your, let's say, integration struggles, and you put things on the rail, like on the road, you start understanding why this country is so giving back.
Yes.
It's so prepaid
Mm-hmm.
country. Like
Mm-hmm.
you pay first and then get a tax refund. So it's not easy to live here. You need to survive. You need to have your surviving skills. So
Yeah.
the culture is about testing.
Mm-hmm.
So they test you
Yeah.
based on your intelligence and your resilience.
Yeah.
And if you survive the Dutch directness, they call
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
then you become part of it. And then you totally understand why they are doing it.
Yeah.
It's a tough way of living
Yeah. It's
because
tough.
the things that has been provided is immense.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why so many nationalities are coming over here and so many people are converting into Dutch nationality.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like
yeah, it's a
one of the
little bit
things
privilege.
one of the things that I learned when I was doing my masters in here, I actually realized that I learned only one thing, and which is be authentic, be yourself. This is what they taught me. The
Yeah,
rest that you can learn anywhere and everywhere, right?
beautifully
So like
said.
I'm like, that's really important lesson for me because like you gotta be yourself. Just be authentically yourself. Like don't apologize why you are yourself. I'm like, yeah, I got it. I learned it, and I'm gonna keep it for the rest of my life. It's a very important lesson for me. So I'm really glad that I did this master's degree, just because not I learned something or whatever. You can learn it online anywhere, right?
So we come to the conclusion of this podcast session, I believe, because the story I was telling from the beginning till now, since you mentioned, I think it's the right time to right time to put the spot on. You need to leave your insecurities if you really want to live abroad.
Yeah,
You need to be very picky to pick the right country based on your self-awareness.
yeah.
If you're not self-aware, if you don't believe in yourself, if you're not self-confident, don't get out of your house. Don't
Well,
get out of your comfort zone.
yeah, but
And
you can also learn things in time, right? These are not easy things to learn like immediately, right? Like you can also like educate yourself by experience also in time.
yeah,
So I get the idea what you mean, but you're absolutely right. But I'm also a little bit curious about the your secondary job, let's say profession, giving like reading CVs and giving people feedback.
I
Like,
mean, it's
okay,
not a job, but it's kind of giving back to
yeah,
society
giving back
mindset.
society. So like, so you must be receiving a lot of CVs or just like,
Yeah, I do.
yeah. So like, when you read them, usually, what do you notice and what do you think? Like, hey, dude, this is just not at all. It doesn't fit here. You're not
Reading
gonna.
them is not enough, Effa.
Yeah. So what do you do exactly? What do you recommend to
So
people?
they reach out to me through LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
mostly. I'm not providing any service, by the way. It's just kind of a, hey Tulu, I got your profile on LinkedIn. Looks like you just hacked the system. How can you help me as a mentor, or can I have a video conference with you?
Yeah.
And long story short, I just try to get the best out of that person in a
Mm-hmm.
story.
Yeah.
When I see 4 pages of a CV,
Right.
it's just like, hey, this is my birth
It just kills
certificate.
you. Yeah.
This is my high school diploma. Like,
Yeah.
no one is
Terrible.
interested about that.
No.
Like you said, being authentic. So
Yeah.
what's your story?
Yeah, who are you? What do you want to do here? What's your purpose?
This is the dream piece,
Yeah.
but some people are not lucky enough to pursue their dreams.
Yeah.
Some people know how to earn money in a different way.
Yeah.
So I just make them a little bit, not act like a turtle, a head inside the body, but act like a giraffe. Hey, your neck is taller than you think. You can actually see the top of the tree.
Okay.
And
So you give them some confidence, you mean?
no, self-realization, be the mirror for them. And
Okay.
the moment they see themselves in the mirror, the rest is ChatGPT.
Okay.
So if you're living in abroad and if you're just willing to apply for a position, you really need to know yourself, and hang into your story. You need to have a story.
Yeah.
You need to have achievements.
And you need to sell your story. That's very
Tell
important.
your story is the sell your story.
Yeah.
But to tell a story, you need to have a story.
Yeah.
To have a story, you need to look at the mirror and
Yeah.
talk to yourself. If those self-awareness activities are not there, no one can do anything.
No.
Like, I'm not a fairy, let's say, tale provider. I just try to make people happy with the time that they willing to spend with me see me as a mentor or stuff. But I also help a couple of, let's say, Turkish friends who are living in Germany as well, Luxembourg and Netherlands, in terms of the emotional, let's say, turbulence that they are going through as a family or individually. Because last thing to wrap up this conversation, it's not only enough to have a self-awareness. You need to also be confident enough to have a hope for tomorrow.
Yeah.
The only thing we complain about in Netherlands is weather, for sure. But to come to that level, you need to first build yourself up
Yeah.
for the
Absolutely.
things that you know yourself of, and be open-minded and embrace any change that hits you with brutal Dutch directness and
Yeah.
honesty.
Absolutely, man. Tulu, thank you so much coming to the show, man.
My pleasure.
It's really super nice to have you
Hope
here.
it serves some good and I
Of
can
course
make
it
some
will.
impact.
It will. It definitely will. Thank you so much, brother.